You know, there's this silent, high-stakes drama that plays out on windowsills all around the world. We're going to talk about orchid crown rot, a condition that is so fast and so lethal that growers have given it this chilling nickname, the zombie headshot.
Man, that one sentence just perfectly captures the stakes, doesn't it? It's this crazy biological irony. A plant that literally lives on air and rain out in the wild can be taken down by the very thing that's supposed to give it life.
And that right there, that's the central mystery we're going to solve today. To really understand this killer drop of water, we're going to have to put on a few different hats. We'll need to be part plant biologist, part detective, and yeah, maybe even part forensic scientist.
So our investigation kicks off with the orchid's own body, its anatomy, because what looks like a totally brilliant evolutionary design out in the jungle, well, it becomes its greatest vulnerability the second it comes inside our homes.
Okay, to really get this flaw, you've got to understand how these guys grow. There are basically two main types. You've got your sympodial orchids, like cattleyas. They kind of spread out sideways with lots of different growth points. But the one we all know and love, the Phalaenopsis, is monopodial. That means it has only one engine, one single vertical growth point, the crown. Everything, and I mean everything, comes from this one critical spot. And this is where it all goes wrong. See, in the wild, these orchids are growing on the sides of trees, often tilted, sometimes even totally upside down. It's a defensive posture. When the rain comes, gravity just pulls it right away from the crown. No problem. But then we get our hands on them, and what do? We pot them perfectly straight up because, well, it looks nice.
And boom, just like that, we've turned its natural armor into a deadly trap. Those leaves that used to be like a little raincoat, shedding water, now they form a perfect little funnel, guiding every single stray drop right into the plant's most vulnerable spot. We've basically, without even realizing it, created this tiny little cup of death.
Okay, so a little water gets trapped in the cup. What's the big deal? Why is that an automatic death sentence? To get that, we need to understand what the crown actually is to the orchid.
It's simple, really. The crown is the command center. It's the apical meristem, which is just a fancy way of saying it's the one and only place where all new growth can start. For all intents and purposes, the crown is the brain of the plant.
Just think about it this way. An orchid can lose a root to rot. Who cares? It's got plenty more. It can get a sunburn on a leaf. It'll just grow a new one. But when the crown is destroyed, the plant loses its ability to make anything new. It can't produce new leaves to catch sunlight and make food. Its entire production factory has been shut down permanently. It's game over.
Now that little pool of stagnant water sitting in the crown, it isn't the actual killer. It's more like the getaway car. It's the transport vehicle for the real culprits, a whole host of microscopic assassins just waiting in the wings for the perfect opportunity.
We're up against two main bad guys here. First, you've got your fungal assassins, like Phytophthora. Think of them as a slow, grinding siege. They're water molds that release enzymes to literally digest the plant cells from the inside out. And then you've got the bacterial blitzkrieg, or Winia. This is a shock and awe attack. It's a soft rot that can turn a firm leaf into total mush in just a few hours, poisoning the plant's entire vascular system along the way.
And these microscopic killers, they need the perfect conditions to launch their attack. A real perfect storm. Stagnant water, that's their superhighway. Cool temperatures, especially the drop overnight, that's their prime time for activity. And a lack of airflow? Well, that means the water never evaporates, giving them all the time in the world to settle in and get to work.
All right, so now that we know what we're up against, how do we fight back? Well, the key here isn't to fight a battle after it's started. The goal is to build an invisible shield, a fortress, so the battle never even begins. And it all boils down to three simple gotta-do-it rules. First up, the morning ritual. Water in the morning, period. This gives the plant the whole warm day to dry out. Second, airflow is everything. I mean everything. A small gentle fan works wonders. It's like giving your orchid its own personal rainforest breeze. And third, be vigilant. The second you see water in that crown, grab the corner of a paper towel and just wick it right out. Easy. Okay, but what if life happens? What if you slip up and you think an attack might already be underway? How can you tell? The signs are sneaky at first, but they are absolutely there if you know what to look for.
You need to do these checkups regularly. First is the touch test. Give that brand new little leaf right in the center a very gentle wiggle. If it feels loose, kind of like a baby tooth, that's a really bad sign. Second, look for the black heart. The very center of the crown will start to look dark, mushy, maybe even a little cottony. And finally, keep an eye out for yellowing, but specifically right at the base of that newest leaf. Those are your alarm bells.
If you find those signs, okay, deep breath. Don't give up just yet. It is time to scrub in and play doctor. We're talking emergency field surgery. This is absolutely a last-ditch effort, but it could be the difference between life and death for your plant.
This emergency procedure is a two-step knockout punch. First, you're going to flush the crown with regular 3% hydrogen peroxide. You'll see it bubble and fizz like crazy. That's it literally cleaning out the infection and killing the bad guys. Then, once that's all dry, you're going to pack the wound with plain old ground cinnamon from your kitchen. It's a fantastic natural fungicide that'll help dry out and seal the area, kind of like a bandage to prevent anything new from getting in.
But you know, even if the crown is a total loss, sometimes the orchid has one final incredible trick up its sleeve. If the root system is still strong, it might pour every last bit of its energy into creating a basal keiki, a perfect little baby clone of itself right from the base. It's the plant's way of surviving its own decapitation, a final, amazing legacy.
So when you zoom out, what does all this whole life and death drama over a single drop of water, what does it really teach us? It forces us to take a harder look at our relationship with the nature we try to bring into our homes.
This quote just says it all, really. The orchid isn't flawed. It's not a failure of the plant. Our understanding is flawed. The failure happens when we try to force this wild, highly specialized thing to live by our domestic rules without respecting where it came from.
You know, when you decide to grow an orchid, you're basically signing a contract. You're agreeing to meet it halfway. You're agreeing to respect its ancient evolutionary history, its deep need for airflow, the very specific physics of how water has to drain away from it, and its slow, steady sense of time. It's on us to build that bridge between its world and ours.
And that leads us with this one big question, doesn't it? This whole zombie headshot thing is a powerful lesson in paying attention and showing respect. It really makes you wonder, right? What other beautiful, wild things have we brought into our homes and accidentally engineered a fatal flaw for simply because we didn't take the time to truly understand their world?